Welcome to the Legal View. I'm David Hogg and this is Aaron Gartlan. Tonight's guests are Kelli Dillard and Vanita Sansom with RE/MAX Southern Properties.
Tonight we're going to be discussing legal issues in particular related to real estate transaction. And also in tonight's Hogg and Gartlan legal brief, we're going to be discussing a case that David and I are currently handling right now that relates to tonight's topic.
American law is complex and not always easily understood, so a little help and advice can go a long way. The attorneys of Hogg and Gartlan Law Firm in Dothan present Legal View.
The Legal View with Hogg and Gartlan.
Kelli Dillard and Vanita Sansom, Dothan's power team, welcome to our show. It's a pleasure having you here tonight. Kelli and Vanita, tell us how you guys got together to sell real estate.
Let's see, we've both been selling real estate for probably 9 years. We've been business partners for approximately a little over 5 years. We were actually the first team that started in Dothan.
Did you guys start off working for the same real estate agency?
We did. We were working at Prudential to begin with, and that's where we formed our team. Originally there was 3 of us on our team, and we've gotten larger and we've gotten smaller over the years, but during the whole process, of course, Kelli and I have stayed together the whole time, and it works really well. And
both of you bring certain strengths to the team, and one of you is more of the business organizer, I guess, and one of you is more
That would be Kelli. She's the more organized person. I would say I'm the more people person, outgoing, like being out in the community, making contacts. She keeps us organized.
Do you work more with consumers, persons buying residential property, or is it more commercial, or is it both?
We're mainly more focused with the residential. We do have a commercial division in RE/MAX. We work with RE/MAX Southern Properties. We're at the corner of 84 West and Honeysuckle, so we have a great location. But Vanita and I do work, I'd say 95% of our business is done in residential. But we do have a commercial division there in our office. We work a lot of land as well. I was raised in Geneva County there in Hartford, and I have a small farm there, and so very familiar with that arena. And so we represent a lot of landowners along with a lot of homeowners, and so we enjoy that aspect as well.
And we're going to talk about legal issues that arise during real estate closings tonight. Right. And a real estate sale and closing is not as simple as it might seem to some people. There are various legal issues that crop up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Isn't that right?
Absolutely.
And I guess in the 9 years that you've been working together and selling real estate, you've seen probably some of all types of legal matters arise.
We have.
Is that fair to say?
That's very fair to say.
And also, just as an aside, you and Kelli have taken on another little business venture that we'd like to tell our viewers about.
Okay.
Right? We've
actually formed K&V Media. We have, it's a publication, it's an events publication, basically letting people know what's going on in Dothan.
And the name of your publication
and the publication is called The Local.
And you can pick that up at?
We have over 150 distribution points. Several of the restaurants, the nail salons. Atlanta Bread Company is a big place that they go pretty fast there. The hospitals, both Flowers and Medical Center. The doctor's offices. Can you think of some more, Kelli? We have a lot downtown. A lot of little stores downtown. You can get them. In the hotels, we also have them distributed at the hotels. So. And we have increased it to 3,500, so they're getting out there, and we've had nothing but good feedback so far from them, people wanting them. So.
Well, great.
And the reasoning behind directly came from our real estate business. We get such an influx coming into Fort Rucker of people. We get a lot of people moving in from Florida. We get a lot of people coming in from the north. So we have a great area in Dothan. We have a lot going on. We didn't even realize there was so many events. Right. But we would get a lot of people to say, to come into the area. We would show our buyers homes, and they would always ask us, well, what is there to do in Dothan?
And you have a website where people can
We
check the
do.
local?
It's localdothan.com. We have a Facebook page as well. And then obviously we have the newspaper. It's in full color. It's 12 pages. Obviously our goal is to grow that even larger. But, you know, our whole idea came from our buyers that we work with and even our other real estate agents, because we're having to go around and gather information on what there is to do in the Wiregrass area. And it comes out every other Wednesday. And so it is current information, and it's about local businesses and local things going on in our community. So, we're very excited. We're on our 9th edition, and so it's going great.
Super. So check out the local for things to do around the Wiregrass area. Well, we're going to talk about various legal issues involved in real estate. We're going to take turns talking with Kelli and Vanita about these various issues. We're here with Kelli Dillard and my partner, Aaron Gartlan. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thank you, David. Now, Kelli, I would like for you to maybe explain to the viewers the benefit of having a realtor involved in a real estate transaction, in particular, maybe some of the pitfalls that you could help people avoid in real estate transactions.
Sure. Well, specifically, our real estate contracts go in detail. They're about 8 pages long, and we are usually a buyer's agent. Whenever we go over the contract with them, it goes into detail, escrow money, which is a binder amount, and it secures the buyer to the home, and it secures the seller from not selling the home to another buyer once both buyer and seller agree to the contract and both initial and sign on the contract. So it does secure both parties to the home. So it does enter both parties to the contract. After that, it does also have an agreement on funds, who's paying what at closing. So there's no guesswork for the buyer or the seller. So therefore, you're not only agreeing on a price for the home, but there's always closing cost amount. Those are attorney's fees, recording fees at the courthouse. So you go ahead and discuss up front. So there's no surprises come the closing table when it's time to sign. Also, you go ahead and discuss a survey. Do you want a survey? You're able to ask the seller, do they already have a survey on the property? So you're able to discuss with the buyer, in actuality, and also you're able to discuss with that buyer if the property has any outbuildings on the property. You know, are they close to the property line? When that survey comes in, are they going to be over the property line? You know, that way you can go ahead and know up front, or before the close of the sale, if that's going to be an issue. So these things could be discussed prior to the closing table.
Well, now, Kelli, do you have any idea, with your training and experience, how many homes the average home buyer might buy in a lifetime?
I don't. Well, whenever we actually attend the National Association of Realtor Conference every November, Vanita and I do, and it changes every year. The location does. It's full of continuing education. It's full of statistics as well. The average home buyer is going to purchase 4 homes in their life.
Well, and the reason I'm bringing that up is, for most people, they may or may not know some of the specific details and some of the things to look for, and this is something that you do basically on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
So isn't that one of the benefits that a person gets using you as their agent, is just all that experience to kind of know what to look for, and you help shepherd them through the process.
It is. Well, and now the thing that we're seeing is financing. Because of the tight reins that mortgage lending has, we're finding that we're becoming more involved in guiding them in obtaining financing, because we do stay intertwined in meeting mortgage lenders and them sending us different mortgage packages and how different lending processes are as far as conventional, FHA, even VA. And what they're offering, different lenders are offering, we're able to provide that information to buyers. So we're able to kind of give them a selection of where to go obtain their mortgage.
Kelly, you mentioned a little earlier a binder. Mm-hmm. If I'm a buyer and I put down a binder, do I expect that I could get that back if I decide not to buy the house?
Only if both buyer and seller sign a release form releasing that money back.
So you need to be sure that you want that property before you write that binder check.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even though our contracts have many stipulations or contingencies, both buyer and seller still have to sign a release for that binder money.
Now, in Alabama, there's a 3-day right of rescission, right? You can get out of the real estate contract within 3 days, correct?
You still have to sign the binder release.
So you would still not get your binder back if you
No,
rescinded?
you're still going to have to, both buyer and seller are still going to have to sign the binder release to get that binder money back. Once the buyer and the seller, regardless of the contingency that's written on the contract, once that binder money has been submitted into the escrow account, into the, whether it's the selling broker or the listing broker's escrow account, you have to sign the release.
Now, I'm a buyer and I'm looking at a house, a used house. Somebody's lived there before, and I'm wondering about if there's going to be anybody to stand behind repairs that have to be made when I move in. Does that happen?
You know what? It does happen. However, it's also going to depend on who owns that home. We do have quite a few foreclosed homes on the market, and some of those owners are going to sell as is. And if they're going to sell, some of them will state no repairs. And so you need to, that's another reason of having an agent on your side, because your buyer's agent is going to find out exactly what that foreclosed company is going to take care of prior to closing.
Okay. And now, is that like a warranty? Can you get a warranty on the house?
You can always, whether you buy it or you ask the seller to buy it, which the seller's not obligated to buy it, you can always purchase a buyer's warranty, a home warranty. However, the home warranty is only going to cover so many items in the home. So you'll need to read your home warranty policy as well. And there are different warranty companies out there. We provide at least 3 warranty companies to choose from, and every warranty company is going to cover different things, and they will be at different cost. But you can always purchase one.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So again, Kelly, you put your years of training and experience to work for the buyer, and oftentimes, in fact, probably most of the time, you just know through your training and experience things that the average home buyer may or may not know to look for, and just again help guide them through and make sure they know what to expect, they know what to look for.
Well, regardless of if they're a first-time home buyer or they're an experienced home buyer, whether this is their first or their third home, times do change. So as I said, it could even be in their mortgage, obtaining a mortgage, or even the process. We have recently swapped homes, which is actually new to us. You know, whether it's a home seller that wants to downsize per se, and you know, we said, well, what if we find a seller, you know, a home seller that wants to upsize, and you want to downsize, and that's exactly what we found.
Sure.
And which is both worked out very well for both parties.
Yeah, that sounds like a great program.
It was a great situation for both parties. But if they're going it alone, it would be a very difficult task without a realtor.
Well, Kelly, thanks for those helpful insights.
Well, thank you for having me, David.
Vanita Sansom, the other member of the Power Team, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, Vanita, earlier Kelly was talking with us about the real estate transactions and how a real estate agent, a realtor, helps a buyer. And would you tell the viewers from the other side or the flip side how a realtor or real estate agent, in particular you, help the sellers?
The seller. You know, right now it's challenging for sellers because there are so many properties on the market and they are competing with the foreclosures that are out there. So when we go and meet with a seller, and every seller has different circumstances they're dealing with, and but
Different reasons
they want to
selling the
sell.
home. Sure.
Exactly. A lot of times their goals have changed once they purchased this house, and now they've wanted to be there for a long time, and now that's changed. They want to, either there's a sickness, or we had one situation like Kelly spoke of that somebody wanted to downsize. So reasons change, but when we go and talk to a seller, first of all, we try to be very realistic about what the market is right now. It is a buyer's market. I mean, the buyers, I tell people, they hold the purse strings. And especially now, if you can get a buyer that's actually approved for a loan, and I call them getting them on the hook, then you want to work with them. Two things we tell our sellers right now in this market. We tell them that we're in a price war and a beauty pageant. They have to, their house has to win the beauty pageant, and it has to look good because it's competing with so many other houses right now.
That makes sense.
And then it has to, you know.
And that's the beauty pageant.
Yeah, that's the
aspect
beauty
of it.
pageant. And
Sure.
then it has to be competitive price-wise. And price is not everything, but price is very important, probably more now than ever in real estate. And, you know, what you pay an agent to do is to promote your home and all the good aspects of it, and for exposure. And that's our job, is to expose that property into the market. One of the things that we do that we're proud of is we do a virtual tour. Not all agents do that, but a lot of people like the media, instead of looking at pictures, they want to see a virtual tour. We tell our sellers that actually that's the first time somebody actually sees their house. Not when
Sure.
they pick up the phone and make an appointment, but when they see the virtual tour. So we try to be realistic with our sellers about what the market is, and we tell them what we can do for them. Sometimes it's a very difficult to go into a home and say, you know, you bought your house 5 years ago, but you know you're not going to be able to sell it for that much now. That's
Sure.
really tough.
Vanita, there's a relatively new phenomenon known as short sales going
Right.
on. And have you had a chance to represent people who are, you know, selling short?
We have. We've done a few. When it first started, when it was the beginning, nobody knew what they were doing. The banks didn't know, and we didn't really know what we were doing. But I mean, it was beneficial to a seller because they could actually sell their house before it went into foreclosure. So,
Tell the viewers what a short sale is.
well, basically, you negotiate a price for the house before they actually go into foreclosure with the bank, and if they have to actually, the sellers have to show all their finances. I mean, they can't have like a bank account in Switzerland or anything. That can't be. So they have to show financial need. So they do a lot of paperwork to get approved for it. But once they get approved, and then we get a buyer, then we negotiate that price to where both the buyer's comfortable with it, and of course the seller is usually comfortable with it, and then we have a sale.
And usually there's something left over that has to be paid outside of the closing. Isn't that right?
Well, you mean something that has been paid on the mortgage?
Right.
Right. Usually there is, and the sweet thing about a short sale is, and you're the legal expert, you might can tell me, but my understanding is that if they go through foreclosure, they can be sued for that difference. But as a short sale, they're not sued for that difference. And you might correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, let me just ask you this.
Okay.
Without getting into too much of the legalities of
Uh-huh.
short sales, if there's a redemption, if
Oh.
the seller comes back later and wants to redeem the property that's been foreclosed, if there's been a short sale, then they've given up the right.
That's
to
exactly
foreclose-
right. They have.
to redeem, haven't
That's
they?
exactly right. And that's kind of a big issue right now. It's been with our state legislators, that right of redemption. There's a lot of people that have wanted to shorten that period from a year to 6 months, or even 90 days. But that's exactly right. Right now with foreclosures, we're having to tell our buyers, there is that right of redemption. There is the possibility. Now it's rare, and I've seen it once in 9 years of business that somebody actually came back and purchased the property. And I would doubt that in our market right now that you would see that happen. But that's still a real possibility. We have to disclose that to our buyers on that right of redemption. But you're exactly right. They do lose that opportunity to get the house back if they do a short sale.
Well, Vanita, wouldn't you say that one of the, saving graces to the market of a seller, you've talked about they may not get what they would ideally like to get out of their home, but if they're in the market for another home, it's still a buyer's market, so
absolutely.
They're going to be able to go out potentially and get another home at a better price.
Oh, absolutely. I say they lose it on one end, but they're going to gain it on the other.
Tell us how you market a home.
Well, we do the virtual tours, which go on all the multiple listing services, which actually Kelli and I actually market to not only the Dothan multiple listing service, but to the Enterprise multiple listing service. So really, with us, they get hit twice as far as the internet. We put most of our money and energy in the internet because right now about 99% of the people that are looking at homes are looking on the internet. So that's where we put our focus on. Therefore, we pay additional money to put our homes on the #1 website, which is realtor.com. So we still do open houses, we still do the traditional things. We still do a little bit of print ad, but not so much anymore. But we do put our money into the internet.
And can the seller tell how many hits they've had on the website?
We actually have a way for them. We can't actually monitor the whole website. I wish we could, because we'd probably be all blown away. But with RE/MAX, and we can go in and give what I call it a hit list, where they can go in and see how many people have actually gone onto the website, they've viewed their home, how many hits they've had, how many people have viewed the pictures, maybe even how many people have seen the virtual tour, and how many people have saved it as a favorite. So it gives a seller an idea about the activity that they're actually having on their house, even when they're not having people actually, come in the door to view it.
Seems like it could drive more interest towards the home that someone's
Oh,
more likely to
absolutely,
buy.
absolutely. The internet is just wide open, and that's where we put our money, is into the internet exposure for our homes today.
Well, that's great.
Well, Vanita, we're so glad you joined us
Well,
tonight,
thank you for inviting us. We really appreciate it.
and hopefully you can come back sometime in the future.
That's a great idea.
We have some clients who went to a loan closing to buy a house. Some of them were buying a house, some of them were selling their house, and they went to the closing and went through all of the paperwork, and then what happened later?
Yeah, that's right, David. Basically, what happened in several cases is mortgages were not paid off. In other words, the buyer and seller are at the closing table. They've done everything they're supposed to do, and they leave the closing table, and the mortgages aren't paid.
Now, do you mean that the client went home and failed to make mortgage payments? Is that what we're talking about?
No, basically what happened here is somewhere in the process, somewhere in the closing process, their mortgages were not paid. So essentially what you have here, in one case in particular, for example, you have a seller that their mortgage was to be paid off at the closing. So now here they are in a situation where they've sold a home to someone else and their mortgage didn't get paid. And then now the buyer is in a home that there's an outstanding mortgage on. So it's showing up on the seller's credit that his mortgage is in default, even though he did everything he was supposed to do went to the closing, and then you have a home buyer that is in a home that has an outstanding mortgage that they had absolutely nothing to do with, that was supposed to be taken care of at the closing.
So it would appear that the person who handled the loan closing mishandled the money, mishandled the paperwork, and failed to forward that money to the mortgage company, to the appropriate persons to get the mortgages, the existing mortgages paid off, right?
Yes, something happened in that process, and it happened at more than one loan closing. There's more than one situation where mortgages, whether it's first mortgages or second mortgages, were not paid. So once again, you have a new homeowner in a home with an outstanding mortgage, and you have a seller with a home they no longer have ownership in, and there's a mortgage showing up on their credit. And then money for taxes and insurance were collected and not paid. So what we have done, and again, we have the opportunity here, and something we're very thankful for and proud of, to represent 13 really good, fine people in Houston and Henry County that work hard, do everything they're supposed to do, and find themselves in this situation, came to us looking for answers. So what we have done is several months ago filed lawsuits in Houston and Henry County on behalf of these people against the loan closing company, which was Title Pro, and also one of the largest title insurance companies in the nation, Chicago Title, to seek all the remedies that we can for these good people.
And there was a relationship between Title Pro and Chicago Title Insurance Company, correct?
That's right. There's an agency relationship, and it's our contention that Chicago Title was involved in an agency relationship with Title Pro and had responsibilities to oversee and make sure that make sure everything's handled properly, and that obviously didn't happen, or these people would not be in the situation that they're in right now.
And as the case develops, we'll know more about the reasons.
Earlier today, I just got out of the 5th day of depositions in this case, and I've got to tell you some of the stories that our clients have related are very, very emotional, and will pretty much bring you to tears just to hear the experience that they went through, and to some extent continue to go through out of this whole ordeal.
Well, thanks again to our guests, the Power Team, Kelli and Vanita, for being here. Stay tuned next week for The Legal View.
Have a great night.
To submit legal questions you may have, email to aaron@hogggartlanlawfirm.com. Thanks for watching. This has been a production of the Hogg and Gartlan Law Firm and WDFX TV, Fox 34.
The Legal View with Hogg and Gartlan.